So then, so you get in, you get a world title shot, you're greener than goose shit. So
No, not even greener than that, Steve. Greener than that.
well,
Goose
okay,
shit
but
ain't got a word to do with it. Yeah, I was worse than that.
but okay. So that being said, what was it? What was the learning curve for you? Were you like a duck to water? Did you? I mean, because
Yeah.
wrestling really, you
Yeah.
did go to wrestling school, and there's been some great
Right.
camps, just like the camp you guys got down there in Orlando with the WWE
Right.
Performance Center. That's a world class
Yeah.
camp, but most of it really is back in the day. I learned a little bit of stuff from Chris Adams, and I got out on the road, and it was on the job training. And so purely, that's pretty much what your whole career was, or your first learning curve was on the job training, because you didn't know shit from Shinola. How fast did you
No.
adapt and catch on?
Well, I had watched it all my life. My dad, that was my dad's big deal. Get his check on Friday night in Austin, go to the Coliseum, watch wrestling. I emulated it in my backyard like every kid did. I don't know. It was something. It was a God-given gift that somebody just said, you can do this without any training whatsoever. And it was just like, I remember the bell rung. I can remember this like it was yesterday, man. And a lot of things I can't remember. The bell rung, and I walked over, and he put his arms out, and I locked up him, and I locked up with him appropriately. And I wasn't too stiff. And as I locked up with this bastard, he roughed me up a little bit, rolled me in, and the old-timers always did this.
Yep.
Always did this. He slapped the dog shit out of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they backed you in, and he slapped me, and my first thought reaction was to slap him back, but then within a second, I thought, I got to sell this. And I didn't even know the word sell, what it meant.
Right.
I got to let the people know this hurt me. And I don't know. So then, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday, for 35 years, my 45 in the business, for 30 years at least, on the road, that many days, twice on Sunday, 7 days a week, in a car, talking wrestling, and every day I got better and better and better. But the first time I walked out, and a few months later when Fritz brought me into Dallas to the Sportatorium, and Danny Pletcher named me Dusty Rhodes, and I walked out, I knew I had it. I just knew from that moment.
But the wherewithal right there, with the first slap, your initial reaction, slap the dog shit out of him back, but you had the wherewithal to sell. And selling to me was, you had so many strong points, but your salesmanship was off the charts. And you said it, you gotta let those people know that hurt you, or nothing means anything.
Right.
And I remember, when the Four Horsemen, broke your ankle, and who was that put your damn near put your eye out? Was that
Animal.
Road Warriors?
Road Warriors, Animal, when they got me with a spike, and that threw TBS into chaos.
But so many guys
miss
the point of selling, man. I mean, because if nobody can hurt you, nobody will give a shit. You were like you like to fancy yourself. You were offensive minded, but you were vulnerable. And when someone had you down and you were in a world of pain, and those people were so behind you and wanted you, they were just waiting for that comeback. I mean, cheering for that comeback. And when it came, you gave it to them. And that's when Faces really got to let it all out. One thing you also did, which I really loved about your work, was the showmanship you put into it, whether it was kind of shaking your ass a little bit or kind of the little hand roll before you started dropping bionic elbows. What brought that creative flair into your work? Was that just purely you saying, hey, this would be cool, or this is just how it happened for you?
By no means I compare myself to Elvis Presley, but he said one time about him shaking when he was singing.
Yeah.
I read an article way back, and he said it just comes. It just felt good. It just felt like something that would happen. And with me, it felt spontaneous for me. It just felt good for me, and it just it set me apart from the cookie cutters guys that we've all seen in this industry. And not blowing a horn is a big thing with me, but I will tell you that this was my thought, and you don't agree with it probably, or you do, or it doesn't matter, because it did to me. As I sat in my living room and watched you with Bret Hart, and I remember that when you were bleeding and he had you in the hole, and you never gave up, and that was the finish. You finally just went out, and the longer you were in it, the longer the facial there. On that night, I said that Steve Austin just became a unbelievable mega superstar, and it was because of the sell. And then I take the young and Cody, as his career has just taken off a little bit, and he's going around here with his brother. But I remember every pay-per-view during that era of him being very small in school and junior high and all that stuff, and he would watch it. And when you would finally turn it on to the selling part, not to the breaking of the glass, not to the grabbing in of the truck, when you were selling, he would turn to me and he said, "Now this is wrestling." He would always say that because he was such a student of it. Right. So you go back and you name the ones that I talked about in the decades. Yeah. Hogan was not Hogan by no means could work. Right. Okay, very well. But what he did well for a big guy, he sold. Yep. He sold. And the people believed he was hurt. He brought them with him. Yep. And you go back, you go with John currently. Yep. And John sells. Yep. He sells the product. And the product is, this arm is hurt, I'm selling this son of a bitch. Okay? So, man, it's just, to me, it's easy. But it doesn't come easy for everybody. I see these kids struggle, of these 80 kids, and we got more coming. And we do all the athletes and all the Olympic guys and all the football players come in for tryouts. And they don't have a clue.